Welcome back, folks. My name's Shane. You're listening to the tones of the Origin Effects Halcyon Blue Overdrive. This is handmade in the UK. It's built like an absolute tank, and it's designed to give you the tones of the original Bluesbreaker pedal and then just about any other number of combinations of sounds thanks to the smart circuitry. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Halcyon up close. So the cool thing with this pedal is it will do the traditional Bluesbreaker tone, and to get that, all you need to do is have both of these two toggle switches to the left and the dry control at 12 o'clock, and that will give you the same sound as the Bluesbreaker. But then you've got a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do. So the mod switch at the bottom here allows you to flick between the Bluesbreaker sound and a modded tone, which gives you more output volume, a warmer sound, and just more drive. It absolutely rocks. Now, our four main controls up here are the same as what you would find on most pedals. So we've got our output level, our drive control, our tone control, and our dry. The dry also controls how much note definition we're going to get. If you need more note clarity and more dry signal in your mix, you can turn it up this way. And if you want less to get a more compressed sound, you can turn it down. What really separates this from a lot of the straight up Bluesbreaker clones is the adapt circuitry here. And this does a number of different things really well. With the adapt switch all the way to the left, you're getting the same dynamic response that you would find from the traditional Bluesbreaker pedal. So as you turn down, it's still going to clean up, but when you flick it into the center, as you turn down to get it to clean up, it cleans up even more, and you get more low end and more high end back in your signal and a reduced mid-range, which is really handy if you like to work your volume control. It actually feels great to play. Now, position number 1 on the right-hand side is the same thing as position number 2, but just not as aggressive. So if you find 2 a little bit too heavy in the lows and highs, you can just switch it to 1, and it really feels great to play. So experiment around with your guitar and amplifier combination, find what works best for you. This is a feature I've only seen on Origin Effects pedals, and it really does make a huge difference, and I'll show you that coming up in the video. The Halcyon Blue Overdrive runs on 9-volt DC. It's top-mounted jacks, which I absolutely love. It means you can get them on a pedal board nice and simply. Before we get into this video, just a quick disclaimer, this is a product provided review. Origin Effects have sent this out. I actually contacted them to see if they would send one of these out because I was so impressed with their gold overdrive, which is the clone. And I plan on putting these together in a separate video to see how they respond. Anyway, let's get into it. Here we go. All right, let's kick it off in today's video. I'm playing my Tokai Love Rock LS110 to Les Paul style electric guitar. We're going into the Fender Blues Deluxe reissue amplifier, which is loaded with an Eminent Swamp Thing speaker. And I've got it mic'd up with an AEA N22 ribbon mic and an Austrian Audio OD5. I've got the Halcyon Blue Overdrive dialed in for a typical Bluesbreaker sound. So if you're unfamiliar with that type of tone, I'll show you what makes it special, and then we can get into all the other stuff that this can do. So this is my clean tone, bridge pickup. The clarity on the top end is still there, which is great. Yeah, if you're a blues player, obviously it's a great choice. It is adding that nice sort of voicey mid-tone. Back with it off. Yeah, it's got that nice sort of voicing in the mids. So that's your typical Bluesbreaker tone. If I want, I can just crank up the drive. So this is maximum drive now. Yeah, drive down, but volume up. So that's already really versatile just by using the gain control on the pedal. Now let's take a look at the dry control. So with it at 12 o'clock, with both toggle switches to the left, is our typical Bluesbreaker sound. And then I can get more note clarity and more dynamics by turning it clockwise, or less by turning it the other way. So it changes the feel and the tone. Let's have a listen to this. You can hear that's a much rounder sound. Compared with this. So if you want more compression, have it to the left-hand side. If you want the traditional tone, you can have it in the center. If you want a bigger sound, you can have it to the right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the mod switch, which drastically changes the voicing of the pedal, I think, in a really musical way, but you can be the judge. Here we go. Whoo! That's a rockin' tone, man. That could be my lead tone. I love it. That's awesome. One of the great things about the Halcyon Blue Overdrive, say for example, I like the mod switch to the right, which I do. It's a great sound. I've still got access to the dry control here, so I can change it up and mix up the type of feel on the pedal. So let's have a listen. I'm not sure how that's going to come up on the recording, but I can hear and feel a big difference in the room with that coming through my amp. And man, yeah, I really like it either at 12 o'clock or at about 2 o'clock, somewhere around there, just for this kind of sound that I have in my head. Yeah, it's got the drive, but it's also got the note clarity, which is killer. Over to my Telecaster now, we're going to check out the adapt circuitry and the pedal dynamics. So this is my starting tone, how I've got it dialed in right now. It's a great sound. What we're going to do is leave the toggle to the left, but I'm going to just bring my guitar volume all the way down and then just up from off. Now, by leaving my guitar at this particular spot, I'm going to switch the adapt circuitry on, which allows me to get more bass, more treble, and less mids with my guitar volume down. So that's beautiful. It's a big difference between that and this. So it's really rounding it out. Now, position 1 is the same thing but less aggressive. Here we go. Back with it in the off position. Yeah, that's a huge difference in the room. Let us know what you think. And again, it's cleaning up beautifully because this, watch this, is my tone. So again, if you like to play dynamically at a gig or for any sort of recording studio stuff, whatever, this works really well, especially when you turn down. Lastly, I just want to show you some of the tones I really love with this pedal if I was going to use this live. So if I wanted a lower gain, sort of typical blues tone, I'd have it dialed in like this. Even though the gain's cranked, this would be my starting tone. Cleans up beautifully, but if I want that sort of rock and high gain tone, just flick the switch. And again, it cleans up. Cleans up beautifully. Let us know what you think. All right, let's wrap this up. I'm going to give you my thoughts here on the Origin Effects Halcyon Blue Overdrive. Now, this can do the Bluesbreaker thing, and it can do that extremely well. But the beauty of this is you can dial in a sound that works for your particular ear and tone. Now, if you love the Bluesbreaker, you've got that sound, and it's still very reminiscent of a Bluesbreaker once you start messing around with the different controls on here. But it allows you to dial in something completely different thanks to that mod circuit. So that's fantastic. That switch on the lower side over here gives you more gain, more attitude, all that kind of stuff. The dry control allows you to dial in more note attack if you need it, or note clarity. And then you can also back it off and get a more compressed sound. So you can really dial in a whole lot more with this. But the star of the show is the adapt switch. It's awesome. So if you like to play with your volume control down during the night, you can set it up in a way where you're going to get a better sound at a lower volume, and then as you turn it back up, it's still going to give you the sound that you started with. It's really cool. So yeah, that adapt circuitry is very much like an amplifier. Now the build quality on this is insane. I remember when I first tried an Origin Effects pedal going back a while ago, I was really surprised just how they feel in the hand. They really do feel like little bricks, but in a really impressive way. I also reviewed the Halcyon Gold Overdrive, which is their clon pedal. And this, again, will do the clon thing, but it will also give you vastly different tones, which is exactly what they've gone for with this Blue Overdrive. Now, what I'm going to do coming up is put these side by side together so you can hear how they might stack with different sort of combinations of sounds, all that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, subscribe and click the bell and leave a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. It really helps. I do appreciate it. And if you want to take a look at this, I'll link it down in the pinned comment. Thanks again, man. I got to say, this will go in the best of 2025 easily. I want to take this out and play it live. It really does have a premium sound to it. So let us know what you think with this going into a real amp with real speakers and a real mic. Thanks for watching.